In November of 2000, Bancroft and Arneson landed at Blue Ice Runway, packed up their sleds, and hit the ice. Their goal, to become the first women to traverse Antarctica. Bancroft and Arneson ski through the wind and ice because they see Antarctica and the long days of strenuous isolation as a chance to think, to journey within.
You're listening to
If Shoes Could Talk,
a podcast brought to you by the Middle School Shoe Club of East Jordan, Michigan.
Dream big, set goals, work hard, and give back.
Wherever you are, I like to say get lost, because when we get lost, when we make a wrong turn, whether it's out in the middle of Antarctica or the North Pole or wherever you are in the classroom, if you make a wrong turn, metaphorically, it's just a part of the adventure.
Welcome to If Shoes Could Talk, the podcast where we hear stories of failure and success from extraordinary people. Today, we're speaking with the awe-inspiring Ann Bancroft, a legendary polar explorer, educator, and advocate for women and girls around the globe.
Ann is known as the first woman to cross both the North and South Poles. Of course, an accomplishment like that took resilience, determination, and courage. Beyond her crazy adventures, Ann is the co-founder of the Ann Bancroft Foundation, which inspires young women to realize their full potential.
Ann is defined by her grit, her commitment to empowering others, and her belief in the power of dreams. Let's lace up and listen to some of Ann Bancroft's incredible adventures.
Hi, I'm Ryan. You faced numerous challenges in your career as a polar explorer. Can you share a moment when you thought a setback was too big to overcome and how you found the strength to push forward?
Every expedition, large and small, always has a setback or two. You go into the whole project knowing that, and you do your homework, you prepare sometimes for years. When you're traveling in Mother Nature and these remote places, she's kind of the boss, and so you can't really predict that part. Crossing Antarctica in 2000 and 2001, one of the big challenges that we had was we built our whole strategy around pulling these heavy sleds. They were 270 pounds. And so we thought in our training, wouldn't it be cool to harness up that great natural resource, the wind, that Antarctica is so famous for? And so we had these sails. We had 3 different size sails for different strengths of wind. And the plan was going along pretty well. When the wind would blow and we could sail, we would sail and we'd make a lot of miles. And when we would pull for long hours and make less miles in the same amount of time, because we're only going a mile per hour just by our own steam without the help of the wind. But about halfway through the trip, the wind disappeared. It absolutely, so this is a wide open landscape and there was just not a puff of wind anywhere. We were starting to feel tremendous despair. And we ended up deciding that we would stay in the tent, even though it was a beautiful blue sky day, which was totally contradictory to everything that we had learned our whole life in outdoor living and expeditioning. And we forced ourselves in because we knew that if we kept pulling, we were going to burn ourselves out. And if the wind returned, maybe at 2 a.m. or something, we would be so exhausted we wouldn't be able to seize that opportunity. The whole trip wasn't going to happen. Our dream wasn't going to come true of crossing the continent because we were running out of time. And all of a sudden we burst into laughter at our own selves. And then we pondered and we realized that we have one thing we can control. We can't bring back the wind. That's up to Mother Nature, and we don't know when it's going to happen. We can change our strategy a little bit, even though it feels very uncomfortable, like sitting in the tent on a beautiful day where we should be traveling in our minds. But the other thing that we didn't realize that we could adjust until that moment of laughter was our attitude.
My name is Nora. Hello.
Hi, Nora.
Many of us fear failure, but your expeditions show the importance of perseverance. How did you learn to embrace failure as a part of the journey, especially in high-stakes situations?
Well, I think I learned about failure very young because I, particularly at your age, I have a learning difference, and so school was was kind of torture for me. To me, challenges were just a part of life every week, every day, and I often thought about that as an adult on my expeditions. I hated school from start to finish. So that was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life. And it gave me energy to do something that was hard, but something that was, in a way, because it's my passion, easier.
What does success look like to you?
Oh, success to me is forever learning, forever being curious, forever trying new things. I think when you get older, I think you kind of get less brave, and you don't want to mess up your past accomplishments by future failures. And so I always push myself to keep trying new things and to do things that I never even would have thought of when I was 13 or 14. I would just go do it. If I didn't know how to skateboard, for instance, I would just get on a skateboard. Well, now I'm much more cautious because I know I'm going to fall.
Hi, my name is Maddy, and my first question for you is, what are 3 things you're most grateful for?
Family, good friends, my 2 cats, and my dog.
Are you also very proud of the foundation that you created?
Oh, you're planting, huh? Yes, I'm very proud of that. I love the foundation. I love the people who work there and make it all that it is. I don't really get to take credit for all that it does today, but I'm really glad I started it and that it's still going on today.
What most encourages you to break barriers for girls?
So many people that went before me, women and girls, broke tons of barriers, and I learned a great lesson. I was really honored one year to be inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame. And when I walked in to this chapel where the ceremony was going to be, I realized walking in, one of the inductees was this jazz singer whom I just adored, and her name was Ella Fitzgerald. And they had her singing in just throughout the church as we walked in. And I realized at that moment, and I didn't know what I was going to say in my acceptance speech very well. I was feeling very undeserving and overwhelmed. And I realized that all the women that had come before me, not just for this award, but in life, pursuing the things that they wanted to do, that their heart told them to do, whether it was in medicine or politics or business, they opened a door.
You're listening to If Shoes Could Talk, a production of the East Jordan Shoe Club, walking in others' shoes for empathy and inspiration for your own powerful journey.
You have some time for some more questions?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Well, these are more goofy.
They're strange. I don't know if they're goofy.
My name's Peter, and I heard you were talking about Ella Fitzgerald, and it made me think, if you were to host a dinner party with famous explorers and other famous people, who would you invite, and also, what would the theme of the party be?
I think, well, I'd have to have Shackleton. And I would like to have a guy named Mawson. And there's a great book out there if you ever want to read a great book, even if you don't care about the polar ice caps. It's called Mawson's Will. Everything falls off of him, his toes, everything. It's great. So I'd have to have him. Maybe Beryl Markham. She was a pilot. She flew a lot in Africa. I've always wanted to be a pilot. Anyway, I would have just a mishmash of people, and I think the theme should be a game that we play around the campfire on expeditions, and it's called Two Truths and a Dare. And when you're outdoor people, like, especially if you're like into mountaineering, it's really hard to tell what's real and what's not.
My name is Abel. Hemi's the best. He always does the best podcasts.
My one Rock question, on, my man.
Well, my 2 questions are, would you rather always talk like a pirate or walk like a robot?
Pirate.
Yeah, because I feel like if you were to always walk like a robot, it would mess with just the walking in general, like across like the Antarctica.
I think I would do a lot of stumbling,
Yeah.
if I was a robot.
Also be very slow.
Very. Well, I'm not too fast anyway, so that might equal out.
Also, where is one place you would like to explore that you haven't been able to yet?
Mongolia.
Mongolia?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I just think that nomadic people they're just really enticing. The only thing that makes me a little bit nervous is the yak tea. It's just like fat. And I don't think I like that very well. So, but I can choke it down if I had to.
My name's Hannah, and what's the strangest thing you've ever packed in your gear for an expedition?
Well, people give you things, and I'm a little superstitious, and so when they give me things to take, sometimes they're a little strange, and they don't hold the same meaning for me, but I'm superstitious, so I take them as long as they're really light. And so I have had like a subway token from New York. Now that didn't ring my bell, but it was little, so I threw that in my bag.
Hi, I'm Caitlin, and if your sled dogs could talk, what do you think they'd say about you after an expedition?
Oh, the sled dogs. Well, they're not allowed to talk because they got all my secrets. What would they say? Oh, she is hysterical. And I wish she would stop using me as a windbreak when she pees.
Hi, I'm Riley. And what's the strangest food you've had to eat on an expedition, and would you eat it again?
No, and it's called muktuk, and it's walrus blubber, and it's very chewy, very fishy, very fatty, and it keeps you warm, but it's really disgusting.
That sounds kind of gross.
It's gross. Just take my word for it. It's super gross.
Yo, yiggity yogurt. My name's Bradley. And would you rather sing everything you say or dance everywhere you go?
I'm kind of a dancer. Then I can get somewhere too.
Well, what's your favorite dance move?
I don't think it has a name. And it's not for public consumption.
That's always a good sign.
And my singing is only good in the Arctic and the Antarctic where no one can hear me.
Anne, thanks for taking the time to share your stories with us. Your encouraged perseverance and commitment to breaking barriers have truly inspired us. Your achievements remind us that it is important to dream big and stay the course.
Until next time, keep dreaming, keep exploring, and remember, the stories our shoes could tell might just change the world.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. It's a joy to be with you.
Follow these students' work online at shoeclub.org and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more If Shoes Could Talk.